today on Divorce Court.
Chris doesn't know how close he is to losing me. I need Chris to be there for me when I need him, how I need him.
I tried to reassure Naikia that I'm not like the dude from her past. My actions speak for my word. If I say I'm gonna do something, that's what I do.
When I see Chris being affectionate with the baby and not with me, it shows me that he's capable of loving, but he just doesn't do it with me.
It's not that I love you any less, but she's a baby. She's a cute little bundle of joy.
If Chris doesn't change, I have to go.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Naikia Wilson and Christopher Lillard. The two of you have been together for 5 years. You have one child together, but you are concerned that you cannot remain together. And for the sake of that child, you've come here and asked my help to keep this relationship. Ms. Wilson, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your life and why we're here in divorce court today?
I have to start with my past.
Okay.
In my past, I've had a lot of abusive relationships. One good example is I wasn't allowed to go out of the house. I wasn't allowed to learn how to drive. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I couldn't even go to the store without a chaperone.
Really?
Really. So when I got out of that relationship, I decided that it was time for me to assert myself and become independent, you know, for my children, you know, become a complete woman. So when I met Chris, you know, he gave me all of that. You know, he represented what I was looking for in a man, you know, strength, stability, and we laughed a lot, you know. But then there started to, you know, after a while, I got a couple red flags, you know.
Such as?
Namely, the car. Because as I mentioned, I wasn't allowed to learn how to drive. So part of asserting my independence was to learn how to drive, you know, to buy a car, to find a car.
Right.
So eventually we found a car. You know, it was in the neighborhood, you know, but it was the perfect car. Chris told me that when we bought this car, because I didn't have a driver's license, I couldn't put the car in my name. And me not knowing anything about, you know, owning a car, going to obtain one, I listened to him. And so we put the car in his mother's name, you know, just so he can kind of ease my mind that that wasn't what he was trying to, he wasn't trying
to take off with the car on.
Right. But then he started, you know, making me feel uncomfortable because it felt like I was borrowing my own car. Right. He took over the maintenance. He was predominantly the one driving it. He was getting all, you know, everybody thought it was his car. You know, they would come up to us and, you know, ask, let's say, ask if we were selling it. They would come to Chris, you know, nobody would.
Because everybody saw
Yeah, everybody saw.
Let me ask him about that. Mr. Lillard, what did you have to say about this car?
The way we bought the car was through a school check, through her school check. This is how we had the money and we were saving it for the perfect car. Now there were a couple of cars came through that she wanted to purchase, but me being a mechanic, I know better. So we kind of potted around until we found this car. And when we got the car.
You guys both got the car with her money.
Right.
Okay.
Right, okay. So, but we were putting it in my mother's name because she didn't have a license. I didn't have a license, and I thought that you couldn't put a car in your name unless you had a license. We didn't find out until later that you could. But the point of the whole situation was I wasn't trying to take the car from her because I'm the one that taught her to drive.
Once you found out it could be in her name, why wouldn't you put it in her name?
When we were going to do that, the car got wrecked. So now there's no rush. The car's at the house now.
But it doesn't run.
Right.
But you could still put it in her name, just 'cause.
Yes, we could, but I mean.
But what?
I mean, there's no real but. I mean, it's not an issue. If she wants it in her name.
It is an issue. It's an issue with her.
But what I'm saying is if it's really that big of an issue still, she can go put it in her name. It's not because like I told her then, I'm not trying to take it from you. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm trying to teach you so that when you need to go to your little places and things that I don't have to get up and take you. I want you to learn to drive this car.
Ms. Wilson, you disagree with that?
Just see how he's on the physical aspect of the car. He wasn't listening to how I felt about the car.
Right.
In the past, I've been controlled over a car. I wasn't allowed to drive a car. I wasn't allowed to have a car.
It has huge symbolic meaning to her to have the car in her name. It's a small thing that is huge to her. and you should make sure, if you love her, you gotta make sure she's secure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I acknowledge that. That's why I tried to make sure that the car was running. You know, I tried to make...
No. You're missing the whole point.
Yes, ma'am.
You're satisfying yourself. You're satisfying your need to have the car in a certain condition. Her need is pure and it's simple. She needs to have the car in her name. Period, end of story. Having said that, tell me what happened the day he left.
We got into a huge argument. He starts to pack his stuff, but he's moving it inside the car. Okay? So I asked him where he going, and he told me, I don't have a car.
Said to you, you don't
Yes,
have a car?
I don't have a car.
Did you say, where are you going in my car? And you said you...
No. Yeah, where are you going in my car? And he said, oh, you don't have a car. He said it just cool, just
Did
like
he take
that.
the car?
Oh, yes, he sure did, ma'am. I called, as soon as he said this, I called the police trying to keep the car. The police said I had no claim on the car. So I was forced to watch him ride off into the sunset with my car.
How long did he keep the car?
3 months. We were broke up for 3 months.
Mr. Lillard, could you care to speak on that?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Just like she said, she told me to get out. I don't have anywhere to put my stuff. Where you live in the projects? What am I gonna do? Put it in the front, in the grass in the front of the house? So no, I stick it in the car. That way I know I can lock the car. Nobody's gonna fool with it. I get in the car, I go to a family member's house. My stuff doesn't even come out of the car.
But didn't you take the stuff out and give her car back?
No.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Because I knew we was coming. I knew I was coming back home.
It was 3 months without a car.
But
3 months.
Yes, ma'am. But
Self-centered and small, Mr. Lillard. Self-centered and small. You did to her exactly that one thing that would knock her legs out from under her because it was more convenient for you.
But my point, Your Honor, was the reason why I did that is because she's giving me this grief about doing something that I'm not trying to do. She's claiming...
But you did do it. That is what you did do.
Yes, ma'am.
Period. End of story. He's hard-headed.
Oh,
Are you sure you want to save this relationship? Because he's very, very hard-headed. I deal with people like him all the time. It's daunting. I'm upset already. Maybe this chick does like him. I don't know. Your cat was intrusive, so it's not a double standard. This is an entirely different situation. You got that part?
I can understand that.
An entirely different situation. You say that there's a double standard with respect to you, the both of you, and members of the opposite sex. Why don't you tell me why you believe that is so?
Yes. Okay. Well, I had a friend, a male friend, and we used to hang out all the time, you know, just because we shared similar interests in art, music, things of that nature. So we hung out all the time, okay? But Chris hung out with us. It wasn't like it was a private thing. He and Chris were becoming friends, so I thought, you know. But later on, Chris expressed to me that he started seeing signs in him that shows Chris that
this guy was interested in you. Right.
This guy is interested in me. So I confronted the guy, and the guy said that he wasn't interested in me. Okay, tell Chris about it. Okay, so Chris demanded that I get rid of this guy friend because he was doing things like spending the night, you know. But these are things that he would regularly do, you know, whether Chris is there or not. So out of respect for Chris, I got rid of the friend because I could see where he was coming from, you know.
Right.
Well, a couple months go by, he has a female friend, okay? And this female friend could not hide the fact that she was attracted to Chris. She could not hide it. I mean, she'll be in full pajamas. Just, let's say she's taking out the garbage. Pajamas. She see Chris outside sitting on the porch. Oh, she will run back in, put on full makeup, hair, the nicest clothes she could find, and she would strut her stuff all down the street, past him, up and down, you know.
Mr. Lillard, she thinks she can't have male friends, but you can have female friends. What do you say?
Can I address the male friend first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, she's telling the truth. I was trying to be cool with this guy because they were friends before I met.
Right.
Far be it from me to try to step on from them. They were friends before we met.
I got you.
We hanging out, playing chess, you know, we do what guys do, this type of thing. And, okay, and we got into like when we first got together, it was one little small spat. It was something really insignificant. Didn't have really anything to do with anything.
If the story's gonna be this long, we'll never get anywhere. No. Just tell me what happened.
I'm gonna shorten it down for you. I'm shortening it down for you, I promise you. Okay, and he interferes in our argument. And I'm trying to talk to her in a room, here he comes. I'm trying to talk to her outside, here he comes.
Got it.
Okay. Then she's moving. She's trying to move from out of one apartment to the next. He doesn't go home for 4 days.
Right.
I mean, he's literally there for 4. Even I went home.
I got it. I got you.
And so now, this incident where she said that she had to explain to him though that there's nothing between us or whatever. You know, the reason why she had to do this is because he's banging on the door like he's the FBI trying to get in the house. He's, you know, just all on the door. 10 minutes he's trying to knock the door down off the hinges. Okay, well, something's got to happen. Now, either he's got to go or I've got to go.
And she got rid of him.
Yes.
So, okay, that's good.
Okay. And
now, let's talk about the girl she sees you with and is concerned about her interest in you.
It's in her head. Yes, ma'am. Because, okay, this female, I speak to her true enough, but the only reason why I even met her, I met her through her family.
Right.
Members of her family. That's how I even met her. I didn't even know anything about this female.
I got to say to you, Ms. Wilson, the two things aren't comparable. They aren't. I mean, this guy spending the night, dipping into arguments, all of that kind of stuff, there for 4 days. That's not comparable to, maybe this chick does like him. I don't know. Your cat was intrusive. So it's not a double standard. This is an entirely different situation. You got that part?
I can understand that.
An entirely different situation. Okay, Ms. Wilson believes that she shows the baby too much love. I have got to understand that, because I don't understand that.
When I come in for lunch, I give her sugar when I come in from lunch.
But we don't have sex.
Well, Mr. Lillard, I'd never make a man defend that if he don't want to.
I'll defend that.
Why do you think that he shows your joint infant too much love? I didn't know there was such a thing.
I don't believe it's too much. It's not about the love itself. It's about the fact that I feel that I've been replaced in a way, because he took all his emotion left when I had the baby towards me. You know, he doesn't hug, kiss, you know. We don't even cuddle in bed anymore. We sleep on 2 opposite sides of the bed. Everything ended when I had her, and it's like he took his love from me and just, you know, it's null and void now. And he makes me feel like the only reason why I'm there is so he can love the baby every day and when he wants to. That's what I feel like.
Mr. Lillard, what is your response to that?
I'm 46 years old. You know, and this is my newborn daughter.
And you're crazy about it.
Right. I am mashed potatoes.
Right.
You know, I'm mashed potatoes about that baby.
Right.
You know?
Which is, he's supposed to be mashed potatoes. He's doing his job being mashed potatoes.
Okay, and as far as us being on separate sides of the bed, okay, once she outgrew the baby bed, she's in the big bed with us. Well, I can't cuddle with her in the middle because we can't put her on the ends. You know, put her on the edge, she'll fall off. Put her on this edge, she'll get between the wet bed and the wall, so she's in the middle. You know, it's hard to cuddle when there's a baby in the middle.
But, no, true.
So, I mean, it's not...
But when you're not in the bed, is she getting hugged and kissed and caressed just a little bit?
When I'm going to work, I give her sugar on the way out 2 or 3 times before I head out the door. When I come in for lunch, I give her sugar when I come in from lunch.
But we don't have sex.
Well, Mr. Lillard, I'd never make a man defend that if he don't want to.
I'll defend that. I will defend that.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, if I've been at work 15, 16 hours, you know, by the time I come in the house, you know, I'm here. Right, all I want to do is take me a shower, put something in my stomach, and go to sleep.
Right.
You know, but if you can't rape the willing, so if I don't care how asleep I am, you know, come in there and get it. If that's what you, come and get it.
Between you being mashed potatoes and you can't rape the willing, I just fell in love with you, Mr. Lillard. It's all good from here on. Ms. Wilson, let me ask you this. I'm going to talk to him about that, and I think I know what's going on there, and I'm going to talk to him because he needs to step up his game. I get that part, but I got to ask you something specific.
Okay.
You have a concern about the name on, you are not on the deed of the house. Please explain that to me.
Yes, okay, just like I explained to you with the car, okay, for my own security, and I thought he understood this after the whole car situation, okay. Now, I just thought that he would put my name on the deed when he was handling the business because I gave him the money, and I thought that issue had already been discussed and we put that in the past. But when we get the deed back, I noticed that just his name is on the house. So I asked him, where am I at? He tells me, when we get married, then I'll put your name on the house. So we have the same...
Okay, let me have Mr. Lillard respond. Mr. Lillard, what do you have to say about that?
I don't have an issue with her getting her name on. That's just what I was thinking at the time. Yeah. I mean, and the paperwork was done. By the time the paperwork was done, I mean, it just... I
got you, Mr. Lillard.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's not my intention at all.
But it doesn't matter what your intentions are. It matters what you did. And I'm going to try to explain that to you yet again. Ms. Wilson, I can't give you what you want. You want me to require him as a legal matter to put your name on that car, on the car and on the deed on the house. I cannot do that. I don't know what third party he's dealing with. I haven't seen the documents. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know what the dower rights are in your state. None of that. I just can't require them to do it legally. But Mr. Lillard, if you want to walk out here looking like half a man, the first thing you need to do when you step off that plane, wherever you live, is go down there and get her name on all that paperwork.
I have no issue with that.
I'm gonna tell you.
I have no issue with that.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Lillard. You don't give people that you love what you think they need. You give them what they actually need. She doesn't need your best intention. She doesn't need what you intend to make her feel by doing other things. She needs something very, very specific from you, and that is to respect her asks. In other words, she needs something you need to deliver, because she came from a circumstance where her voice meant nothing. She was a zero in a relationship before you. Mm-hmm. She was told where to go, what to do, when to do it. She was precluded from exercising any of her rights. Mm-hmm. And what you did was reflect all that negativity back into this relationship. You are killing her with not hearing her. Okay. You're just killing her. Sometimes you just got to give a person what they need. And it doesn't have to be what you think she ought to need and why and all this kind of stuff, especially when you picked her. You picked her in the shape that she was, with the history that she has, mm-hmm. and all the, you know what I mean? It's mm-hmm. like if she would have, always tease you about not having no hair, tease you about how tall you are. You don't go at a person with where they're weak. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, Your Honor, but I don't go at her where she's weak. The thing.
Oh, okay. But yes, you don't even know where she's weak, Mr. Lillard, because you don't listen. I've told you would have never done those things if you don't listen. She's applauding because I'm right. They're applauding because they know I'm right. The only person in here don't know I'm right is you.
I do know you're right, though.
Good. Then this matter is adjourned.